Hey, what's up guys? I am Jerome from the Bonsai Supply and welcome to this week's video. Now in this video, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about one of my trees that I've had in my collection for about 15 years and it has never really seen a day of light. I've never really shown it to the public that much, even though it happened to be the logo tree of the Bonsai Supply. Now I'm talking of course about my dwarf Yupon holly or Ilex shilling. So sit back and relax while I tell you the story of this tree. So let me start out by telling you how I actually acquired this tree, because it's quite a funny story. So back then, about 15 years ago, I was quite a rebel. I would always drive around with a shovel, a saw, garbage bag, and tape in my trunk. Thank God I never got pulled over, because it would have not looked good for me to drive around with these things in my trunk. Anyways, I had these things in my trunk because I always wanted to dig up bonsai material, potential bonsai material, air layer things. And when I lived in Florida in the tropical world, it's very easy because if you see a cool branch of like a bougainvillea or like a ficus, you can just take a handsaw, cut that branch off, take it home, stick it in some dirt, and it will regrow. And so the reason why I'm telling you about this is because this is exactly how I acquired this tree. So I actually drove my mom to the airport. She came to visit me from Switzerland and stayed with me for like a month or so. So on the last day, I drove her to the airport, and as we get off the highway, my mom says, Jerome, stop the car, pull over, pull over. So I pull over the car and she shows me this tree that she saw from the highway, from the inside of the car. And it is this Ilex shilling. So I said to her, man, this is quite a find. How much time do you have before you need to board your flight? And she looks at her watch and she says, I got some time. So we dug out the tree together. We put the root into the garbage bag and taped it up with tape to, preserve it. I dropped her off at the airport and I brought it home. And this is how I acquired this tree. Now, this is not something that I recommend for you guys to do. I'm just telling you a story of how I acquired this tree. So when I brought this tree home, the first thing that I did was I washed out all of the sand that was in the root ball, because in Florida we have a lot of sand in the ground. Washed out the sand, pretty much bare rooted it, and potted it directly into a bonsai container. So I went straight from the ground, from collecting it like 2 hours prior to putting it directly into a bonsai container. Now, today I would do things a little different. I would pot it into a large wooden box first so that it can recover quicker and easier. But back then, that's what I did. Nonetheless, it survived. I kept it in the shade for about 2 weeks, and then once it started to push new growth, I transitioned it slowly out into full sun. And this tree was so beautiful. I was so happy when I found it, because it has that beautiful root spread. It has that hole in the trunk, and that beautiful taper from the bottom all the way to the top. I still don't know how that quite happened, if Mother Nature just created a bonsai tree for me in the ground and made me find it, or if some bonsai guy had it grown as a bonsai and put it in the ground there, and I just dug it up. I'm still not sure to this day what happened, because all the branches were in the perfect place. The scale was perfect of it. It was just beautiful in every aspect. And so once it started to grow, I didn't do anything to it. I just let it recover for about a year. I just wanted to make sure that it would actually make it. And I wanted to make sure that, it didn't lose any branches, because that would change my design. But everything survived. And then after a year, in the next growing season, in the middle of the summer, I went ahead and I gave this tree its very first styling. And this is actually a picture of it, of this tree when I finished the very first styling. And of course, I kept it really well watered. I fertilized it once a month using our all-purpose bonsai fertilizer, protected from cool, dry winds during the winter months. And that's how I was able to turn a tree like this into a beautiful specimen over the course of several years, and this is what the end result looked like. Now this tree eventually went on and became the logo tree of the Bonsai Supply. As you can see right here, this tree in the logo is actually this Ilex. So when we started designing logos for the Bonsai Supply, this tree just always fits so perfectly into that circle, and that is why we kept it. Furthermore, it was also used, actually when Mari and I got married, we used this tree as a tree for a tree ceremony. It's really cool. We both poured fertilizer on it and we watered the tree together. And I'm just saying, we're still together today, so maybe it worked. So now I'm glad that I finally was able to make a video about this tree and tell you guys, that it is actually the logo tree of the Bonsai Supply, because it is a question that we used to get asked quite a lot of times. They're like, what kind of tree is that in your logo? You never talk about it. Where does it come from? So here it is. Now, if you have any more questions regarding anything that I said in this video or any comments, please leave them down in the comment section. And if this is your first time coming across this YouTube channel and you like bonsai, consider subscribing to this channel so that you're always notified and up to date when a new video comes out and you never miss any of this great content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.